Ngayong Biyernes sa DOST Report, alamin ang ilan sa matagumpay na projects sa ilalim ng Collaborative Research and Development to Leverage Philippine Economy Program o CRADLE ng DOST. Alamin kung ano ang PISONER o Payment Innovation for SHS Ownership by Layaway Routine Project kasama si Engineer Philman Simpao mula sa University of Southeastern Philippines at si Engineer Raymond Zamora, ang President ng Learning by Doing Technologies Incorporated o LeadTech. Ang community-level functionalization of handwoven Cordillera and Mindoro Textiles for Creative Protective Clothing Project na ibabahagi ng project leader nito na si Mizaila Payag. At ang Driver PH, Driver's Roadworthiness, Improvement Verification, Education, and Readiness for the Philippine Logistics Industry na ibabahagi naman ni na Mr. Felizardo C. Reyes mula sa Technological Institute of the Philippines at Mr. Teddy Hervasio, ang President ng Quick Trans Cargo Moving Incorporated. Alamin yan at iba pang Science for the People projects ng Department of Science and Technology mula mismo kay DOST Secretary Fortunato Boy de la Peña. Pakatutukan lahat ng yan sa DOST Report tuwing Biyernes alas 4 ng hapon sa DOST TV Facebook page at YouTube channel.
Magandang agagang Pilipinas. Welcome po sa DOST TV Facebook page at YouTube channel. Ito ang programang una sa mga napapanong balita tungkol sa agam, teknolohiya at inobasyon para sa bayan. Ito ang DOST Report. Ako po ang inyong kapatid sa Imbabuid, Orin Miranda, at kasama po natin ang kalihim ng kagawaran ng agam at teknolohiya, ang nag-iisang DOST Secretary Fortunato Boy de la Peña. Magandang agam po, Sek Boy.
Magandang araw din sa iyo, Onin, at sa ating mga taga-subaybay.
Bago po lahat, nais ko pong batiin, Sek Boy, at ang lahat ng bubuo ng DOST Report. Dahil kinilala po tayo sa Gandingan Awards ng 2022 o Gandingan Awards 2022 ng UP Community Broadcaster Society bilang Most Development-Oriented Science and Technology Program para sa ating DOST Drug Discovery in the New Normal. At si Sekboy po ay nagkamit ng special citation bilang gandingan ng agam at teknolohiya. Congratulations po, Sekboy. Ano po masasabi po ninyo sa pagkilalang ito sa ating programa?
Nais ko magpasalamat sa Community Broadcasters Society sa pagkilala sa amin at sa ating programa na DOST Report. Ang layunin ng programang ito ay iparating ang mga napapanahong balita tungkol sa agham at teknolohiya para sa lahat ng mga Pilipino. Nais nating makapagbigay ng impormasyong mapapakinabangan ng ating mga kababayan. Muli, maraming salamat sa mga parangal na ito.
Nagkami din po ng parangalang Expert Talk Online bilang Most Development-Oriented Women's Program at Most Development-Oriented Livelihood Program. Ang sinesiyensya episode na pinagbugatang Paglaya ay nagwagi naman bilang Most Development-Oriented Online Video. At ang DOST TV Science for the People ay nagkamit ng Core Award, ang gandingan ng kaunlaran. Sa ngalan po ng buong team ng DOST TV, maraming salamat po sa pagkilalang ito. Tuloy-tuloy po tayo sa ating programa. Oras na para alamin ang latest sa balita tungkol sa agam at teknolohiya sa mga reyon at sa buong bansa. Alamin natin yan mula mismo kay Sek Boy.
Gaya ng dati ay ibibigay ko ang mga updates tungkol sa aming mga accomplishments o highlights of accomplishments para sa linggong nagdaan. At susundin ko uli yung aming kalusugan, kabuhayan, kaayusan at kinabukasan. For the first part, I would like to give updates on kalusugan. The DOST PCHRD funded project entitled Point of Care Detection of Salmonella Enterica DNA using loop-mediated isothermal amplification lateral flow assay, which is led by Ms. Joy Ann Petronio Santos from the University of the Philippines, Diliman, is developing a two-step salmonella loop-mediated isothermal amplification lump lateral flow assay, which will simultaneously determine the presence or absence of typhoidal and non-typhoidal salmonella in clinical and food samples. It will also determine the resistance of S. typhi to fluoroquinolone, which would help clinicians determine what type of antibiotics will be given to a patient. The project's initial results showed that the LAMP LFA platform is possible for use to both food and environmental samples and is now ready for pilot testing. The detection kit will be advantageous in rural areas wherein molecular detection is not available, especially here in the Philippines. The platform will also be beneficial due to its short turnaround time of results, higher sensitivity, and specificity compared to conventional methods. The second one is a report from an NRCP-funded research. NRCP is the National Research Council of the Philippines, which shows that pandemic-induced mental illnesses hit most the unprivileged. The results of the NRCP-funded research through its SNT experts pool show that the underprivileged are most likely to suffer from mental illness as they have less access to resources, especially during natural calamities. Dr. Meredith Labarda, NRCP member of the Division of Medical Sciences, said that based on her study, there were high cases of depression, anxiety, insomnia, and stress among urban poor adults in Tacloban City. The study also found that there was an increase in levels of unhealthy lifestyle behaviors as well as a lower sense of well-being among the respondents. Dr. Labarda also mentioned that the impact of natural disasters on mental health is well studied, but there are little to no existing literature on the long-term mental effects by prolonged disasters such as a pandemic. She noted that the risk factors for mental health problems during a pandemic were an individual's hospitalization history, remote location of residence, unemployment, lifestyle stressors, increased alcohol consumption, and lesser education. The presentation on this study was done during the NRCP 16th Kapakanan ng Tao sa Oras ng Pandemya or KTAP webinar entitled Assessing Mental Health Needs and Psychological Advancements of Community-Dwelling Adults in the Context of Extended Pandemic Lockdown in Tacloban City. This was reported last March 22. Now we move to Kabuhayan. The first one is a report from the DOST National Capital Region saying that they distributed urban gardening kits for gulayan sa paaralan in Bangkulasi, Nabotas. Our DOST NCR Kamanaba Clustered Area Science and Technology Center turned over enriched spotting preparations or EPP kits and SNAP hydroponics on March 24, 2022 as part of the local Gulayan sa Paaralan, Tahanan at Pamayanan program in Bangkulasi, Nabotas. To date, the DOST NCR Kamanaba CASTC already has provided a total of 400 EPP kits and 30 SNAP hydroponics to support the barangays program, which is aimed at addressing malnutrition and promoting vegetable production and consumption, promoting local gardening for food security, and recognizing collective partnerships such as Gulayan sa Pamayanan of the DOST PICARD and DOST NCR. The next report comes from DOST Region 10 in Northern Mindanao, saying that 1,000 banana farmers in Lantapan, Bukidnon will benefit from the banana processing technology with assistance from the Community Empowerment to Science and Technology Program. The Rural Improvement Club, the project's main beneficiary, received a set of banana chips processing equipment worth 102,960 pesos from the DOST Bukidnon last March 11, 2022. Our DOST Bukidnon has also set a schedule for their hands-on training on banana chips processing, food safety, and good manufacturing processes to equip them to become FDA licensed to operate compliant. The Rural Improvement Club of Nantapan, with 41 members, is expecting additional income of about 20,000 pesos per month once the facility is in full operation through their main product, which is native Cardaba banana chips that will be bought from the farmers. Furthermore, about 20 locals will be employed to manage the said livelihood intervention. The next Kabuhayan report comes from our DOST Region 12 in South Cotabato, or Socsargen, stating that they have extended technology assistance to 4 new setup beneficiaries. These are actually in different businesses. One is in fruit food processing. One would be in processed food like burgers. Another one is in bread cart bake shop. Okay, and the other one is also on food processing. The Small Enterprise Technology Program, Technology Upgrading Program, or setup, is the DOST's flagship program that encourages and assists micro, small, and medium enterprises, or MSMEs, to adopt technological innovations to improve their products, their services, and operations for growth, as well as their productivity and competitiveness. The next report comes from, this is from our DOST FNRI, stating that the DOST, the Department of Trade and Industry, and the Department of Agriculture are now collaborating in promoting non-wheat flour. Our DOST Food and Nutrition Research Institute held a meeting with the Department of Trade and Industry Board of Investments about the promotion of seaweed-based flour on March 31, 2022. And this was attended by 11 participants. During that meeting, the DTI's Board of Investment explained that there is an ongoing interagency collaboration among DA, DTI, and DOST on promoting non-wheat flours. Upon initial scanning of available technologies, DOST FNRI apprised the Board of Investments that there is already an existing technology on the manufacture of dried noodles or canton and pressed noodles or miki utilizing seaweeds. Okay? The BOI gave context on the structure and performance of the Philippine flour milling and noodle manufacturing industry and highlighted the opportunity which can be harnessed in exploiting seaweed-based flour given the significantly increasing world price of wheat flour. The next report is from the DOST Forest Product Research and Development Institute, stating that they have introduced bamboo for wellness products, okay, in collaboration with the Provincial Science and Technology Center of Davao Oriental. So they have introduced products or technologies like the bamboo soap making technology to selected participants in Davao Oriental last March 17, 2022. The bamboo soap is one of them, coming from bamboo. Okay, it's really a product coming from bamboo, developed by the DOST FPRDI and with the funding assistance from the DOST Philippine Council for Agriculture, Aquatic, and Natural Resources (R&D) or PICARD. So in that particular training program, DOST FPRDI also distributed a total of 200 packs of bamboo-based liquid and bar hand soap, okay, in the city of Mati LGU, as well as in the provincial LGU of Davao Oriental, as well as to the Penro and others who participated in the training, like those representing the academe, government, and civil society. Another report comes from the DOST Food and Nutrition Research Institute, or FNRI, is stating that they conducted a site visit and technology transfer training in Ojongan, Romblon for the production of complementary food. This complementary food usually is made from rice and mongo and other vegetables that are actually our response in addressing malnutrition among children. Still on Kabuhayan, our DOST Industrial Technology Development Institute continues its training on Sagip Nutri Flour and other non-wheat flour. The said training is a continuing activity of the first part of the training for non-wheat flour. Participants produced butter cake using cassava flour, pandesal using banana flour, and sweet flour brownies or sweet potato flour brownies. The procedure for Choco Nutri Bar using Sagip Nutri Flour was also discussed. They use local crops like cassava, sweet potato, mongo or mung bean, banana, and other crops to produce flour and use it in various bakery products in the region. Our DOST Industrial Technology Development Institute partnership with Adamson University was formalized last March 30 with the signing of a Memorandum of Understanding, which also coincided with the launching and inauguration of Adamson University's Additive Manufacturing Center for Industrial Ceramics, or AMCERAM. The partnership aims to promote additive manufacturing in the academe, especially in providing future engineers and scientists with technological skills through various research and development activities, including product development and design, materials characterization, training, and rapid prototyping using the different additive manufacturing tools. This collaborative work can contribute to the common goal of accelerating the growth and development of our country. The next report actually is coming from DOST Caraga, and this is regarding the inauguration of two facilities in Caraga. One is the Minerals Research and Testing Center at the Caraga, DOST Caraga office area. Okay, it's actually a new building that was part of the infrastructure program of DPWH and will soon house the needed facilities and equipment for research and testing of minerals. They also inaugurated, DOST Caraga also inaugurated a partnership project with the Butuan city government, and this is regarding the Butuan city local government, and this is the inauguration of the Butuan Innovation Maker Space. The next report comes from DOST Region 6. DOST Region 6 reported about the support given by DOST for the first nuclear magnetic resonance laboratory in Western Visayas. This is through a research and development grant to the University of San Agustin for the establishment of the first nuclear magnetic resonance or NMR laboratory in Western Visayas. It is also the first NMR facility outside the National Capital Region or NCR. The project is headed by DOST Balik scientist Dr. Jonel Saludes and Dr. Doralyn Dalisay, both faculty and researchers of the University of San Agustin. Moreover, the NMR spectroscopy will actually be an essential part of advancing the capabilities of regional laboratories in quantitative and qualitative analysis. This process is crucial in confirmation of the structure of compounds, possessing therapeutic activity that can advance antiviral drug and vaccine discovery research. The next report comes from our DOST Philippine Textile Research Institute, and this is regarding the signing of an agreement between PTRI and Isabela State University for establishing the second Regional Yarn Production and Innovation Center outside of Manila. The DOST, PTRI, and Isabela State University inked the partnership for the establishment of this Regional Yarn Production and Innovation Center, or RIPIC, last March 25. This will be the next to the first Regional Yarn Production and Innovation Center, which was set up in Mag-ao, Iloilo, in Western Visayas, about 2.5 years ago. The establishment of the said facility in Northern Luzon will be a pipeline to spur further development of the local textile industry and additional support to our MSMEs and other sectors. The center is an inclusive development strategy of TELA Philippines and one of the two projects under the DOST PTRI's Inclusive Innovation Textile Empowering Lives Anew, or TELA program. It will also foster the development of the tourism industry and yarn production in the region and its neighboring provinces. The Isabela State University Ilagan campus will soon offer a textile engineering course in support to the Regional Yarn Production and Innovation Center in Region 2. Other mobilizing institutions include the DOST Cordillera Administrative Region, the local governments of Apayao, Ilagan, and Kawayan City, which also signed the Memorandum of Agreement for the Regional Yarn Production and Innovation Center, for the Bamboo Textile Fiber Innovation Hub, and the Natural Textile Fiber Innovation Hub for Region 2. The next report is still on kabuhayan, but this has something to do with the safety of our processed meat. The DOST Region 1 Regional Standards and Testing Laboratory, or RSTL, presented the results of the research study entitled Environmental Monitoring of Listeria SPP and Salmonella SP for the meat processing industries in Ilocos region. And this is during the One Lab R&D Forum that was facilitated by the DOST Industrial Technology Development Institute, or DOST ITDI, last March 28 to 29, 2022. The study discussed by the DOST Region 1 provides an increase of awareness of selected meat processing industries in the region with good manufacturing practices and good housekeeping practices, and it aims to assess the environmental microbiological quality both for Listeria monocytogenes and Salmonella SP of food contact surfaces in meat processing plants in Region 1. It also aims to assess personal hygiene of plant personnel, also to monitor the microbial density of the plant production area, and to increase the awareness of our micro, small, and medium enterprises with regards to Listeria and Salmonella. As the study is still ongoing, results from the initial assessment, partial conclusions, and some recommendations were already discussed. And now on kaayusan, the first item here is that the DOST and the Isabela State University broke ground with the new NITS R&D Center for the Regions, or the NICER on Smart Water Infrastructure Management. The DOST and Isabela State University led the groundbreaking ceremony for the fourth NITS Center in the region for R&D, and this was last March 25. This center, dubbed as the Smart Water Infrastructure and Management R&D Center, or SWIM, aims to improve water resources management systems through integrated approach and the use of science tools for sustainable development. It has four components, namely, the first one is smart water resources monitoring and planning, assessment, design, and development of water resources projects and interventions. The second one is an integrated assessment and analysis of hydraulic assets for sustainable and resilient flood control infrastructure. The third one is a geographic information system, or GIS-based decision support tool in managing, monitoring, and applying interventions of water infrastructure for smart cities, in their case, Kawayan City. And the port is smart water control infrastructures for effective irrigation management. The next report is still on kaayusan, comes from DOST Region 6 in Western Visayas. And this is in partnership with the Kapatiran Peace and Development Community. They, as partners, opened the Emergency Food Reserve Facility in Ibahay, Aklan. As a way to benefit residents of the Kapatiran Peace and Development Community in Kabugao, Ibahay, Aklan, a groundbreaking ceremony was held for the Emergency Food Reserve Facility to be established in the area. The aforementioned Emergency Food Reserve Facility is an initiative from our Community Empowerment through Science and Technology Program for conflicted areas in Western Visayas. The main goal of the project is to equip beneficiaries with the proper skills and facilities needed for the preparation of food such as sagip powder, vegetable-rich green and brown choco bars, vegetable-rich compact and baked polvoron, and as such, this project aims to eliminate dependence on national or regional food rations during disasters and to provide livelihood opportunities for the Kapatiran members. Now, to the last K, kinabukasan, the first report is regarding the launching of Pagtanaw 2050, which was prepared by the National Academy of Science and Technology as commissioned by the Department of Science and Technology. And the launching was held last April 1, 2022. Pagtanaw 2050 is the first inter- and transdisciplinary Philippine-focused science and technology and innovation foresight to harness science and technology as tools towards innovations in products, processes, and organizations to develop our natural endowments as an archipelagic and maritime nation towards a blue and circular economy. Under the shared vision of a prosperous archipelagic maritime nation, Pagtanaw 2050 supports a technology-explicit development agenda for a globally competitive Philippine blue and circular economy that is knowledge-based, inclusive, and sustainable. Pagtanaw 2050 aims to nurture an educated, healthy, and productive citizenry. Still on kinabukasan, I'm happy to report that we have two DOST undergraduate scholars who have just graduated who topped the licensure examinations in engineering. Two undergraduate DOST Science Education Institute scholars topped the 2022 licensure examination. One is in mechanical engineering, and this is Engineer Mark Anthony Arcayan of Visayas State University, who topped the 2022 board exams for mechanical engineering held last February with a record-breaking 96.60% rating. He broke records by obtaining the highest rating in the history of the mechanical engineering board exam. Another DOST scholar who topped, was number one in a recent licensure examination is a scholar from Caraga State University in the person of Andy Makasaet. He garnered the highest score in the recent mining engineering licensure examination. Next report under kinabukasan is that 5 Philippine Science High School students in Cagayan Valley bagged the International Gold Award in Shell's The Bright Ideas Challenge 2021. 5 students from the Philippine Science High School, Cagayan Valley campus won a gold award in the international level of Shell's The Bright Ideas Challenge 2021 Global Recognition. The team called Elteratix is composed of Idan Biel Aguada, Sina Yelena Shimmery de Leomos, Joshua Robert Martin, Hadia Andoy, and Prince Angelo Rivera. And their coach is Mr. Lyndon Lazaro. They bested 150 entries from Australia, Brazil, Brunei, China, Egypt, India, Kazakhstan, Malaysia, Nigeria, Oman, Qatar, Russia, Saudi Arabia, Singapore, Trinidad and Tobago, and the United Arab Emirates. They wowed the judges with their winning entry called Project Pagsoilbok, a portable device and mobile application that measures nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium contents, as well as the pH level of the soil. Results gathered and recommendations to enrich the soil are displayed in the mobile app. Currently, the project received a 100,000 funding from Shell Philippines to be implemented in Cagayan Valley next year. We are very proud of these 5 students from Philippine Science High School, Cagayan Valley. And the next report, still on kinabukasan, says that the DOST imbibes Israel's innovation ecosystem through the visit of a team from March 28 to April 4, 2022. The DOST conducted an innovation mission for startup incubators and acceleration in Israel. The Philippine delegation was led by DOST Undersecretary for Research and Development, Rowena Cristina Guevara, together with the Executive Director of the Philippine Council for Industry, Energy, and Emerging Technologies R&D, Director Enrico Paringit, and other representatives from DOST councils, DOST-supported technology business incubators, DTI, the Local Government Academy, and the United Nations Development Program. The mission included visits and meetings with various Israeli science, technology, and innovation institutions like the Ministry of Science and Technology and the Israel Innovation Authority, as well as several types of startup enablers, a pre-incubator called Blender at the Hadassah Academic College, a technology business incubator at the Hebrew University Center for Innovation and Entrepreneurship, and a government-funded accelerator called A2BE, as well as a privately funded accelerator called Sarona. During the visit, the delegation learned and witnessed firsthand the strengths of Israel, particularly on innovation and why they are dubbed as the startup nation. Albeit a small country with no natural resources, Israel is able to produce 95% of their own food requirements, having mastered precision agriculture, drip irrigation, climate-controlled greenhouses, and resilient seeds for their agricultural produce. Last year, Israel's startups raised $25 billion in funding, and 33 companies entered the Unicorn Club of private firms. Unicorns are startups valued at over $1 billion each. And finally, to our last item, still on kinabukasan, the DOST bannered the Philippine efforts on pandemic response, on Industry 4.0, on urban development, and on ICT at the UN Commission on Science and Technology for Development sessions. The DOST actively participated in the recently concluded 25th session of the United Nations Commission on Science and Technology for Development, or UNCSTD. The session was conducted in a span of 5 days with discussions focused on the role of science, technology, and innovation in building back better from COVID-19, as well as a discussion of Industry 4.0 for inclusive development, a discussion on using science, technology, and innovation for sustainable urban development, and a discussion on the World Summit on Information Society, as well as the UNCTAD Science, Technology, and Innovation Policy Reviews. The DOST successfully delivered the Philippine statements at the 4 high-level roundtable and high-level panel discussions. The DOST took the opportunity also to share its own initiatives in the related teams such as the Virology and Vaccine Institute of the Philippines, the Small Enterprise Technology Upgrading Program, the NICE R&D centers in the regions, the Advanced Manufacturing Center, the Advanced Mechatronics, Robotics, and Industrial Automation Laboratory, our Pedro, which is the facility for receiving satellite data, and the DOST Smart and Sustainable Communities and Cities Framework, as well as the use of UHF TV bands to develop low-cost, small-scale LTE-based stations. While the Commission discussed about various topics, the recurring issue raised by different member states, panelists, and representatives was the increasing inequality in technological advancements between and within countries. Based on the discussions, many stakeholders called for more inclusive and sustainable policies and programs. They say that the science, technology, and innovation developments must happen while protecting the environment and achieving the 2030 Sustainable Development Agenda. That ends my report on the highlights of DOST accomplishments for this week, ending April 8, 2022. Maraming salamat sa ating mga taga-subaybay.
Maraming salamat po, Sekboy. Natungin po ninyong kabuuan ng DOST updates para sa nagdaang linggo. May namiss ka bang balita? Maaari mo itong balik-balikan, bistahin lamang ang dosttv.ph o i-download ang DOST TV app sa inyong Android phone para pwede kang manood ng DOST report anytime, anywhere. Sa aming pong pagbabalik, ating tatalakayin ang isa pang programa sa ilalim ng Science for Change program ng DOST. Ito ay isang programa na nakasentro sa partnership ng Research Development Institutes at ng private companies. Ito ang program. Abangan yan sa pagbabalik ng DOST Report. Kayo po'y nanonood ng DOST Report, ang programang una sa mga napapanong balita tungkol sa agam, teknolohiya at inobasyon para sa bayan. Isa sa layunin ng Science for Change program ay bigyan ng support ang mga pribadong kumpanya at palakasin ang kanilang kakayahan na lumaban sa pandaigdig na merkado sa pamamagitan ng research and development. At dyan nakasentro ang isang sub-program nito na ating bibigyang pansin ngayong araw, ang Collaborative Research and Development to Leverage Philippine Economy Program o CRADLE.
Tama ka, Onin, ang CRADLE or ang Collaborative Research and Development to Leverage the Philippine Economy ay may katangian na ito ay isang partnership between a company or a firm and a research and development unit, no, na usually ay nasa universities. At ang kagandahan nito ay natutugunan ng diretso o tiyak kung ano yung problema ng ating company or enterprises at doon nakatuon ang research na gagawin ng academe. Ano? At ito ay tinutulungan ng DOST sa pamamagitan ng pag-suporta through funding dun sa R&D na gagawin.
At ngayong araw, 3 kinatawan mula sa 3 CRADLE projects ang magbabahagi ng resulta ng kanilang R&D at kung paano ito nakatulong sa kanilang partner private company. Makasama natin sina Engineer Philman Simpao, ang project leader ng Payment Innovation for Solar Home System o PSOLAR Project. Ito ay isang proyekto sa pagitan ng University of Southeastern Philippines bilang RDI at ang pribadong kumpanya na LeadTech. Makasama rin po natin si Ms. Zyla Payag, ang project leader ng Handwoven Textile, isang proyekto sa pagitan ng DOST, ETRI at ng Custom Made Crafts Center Incorporated. At si Mr. Felizardo C. Reyes, ang project leader ng Driver PH, isang proyekto ng Technological Institute of the Philippines at ng Quick Trans Cargo Moving Incorporated. Magandang araw po sa inyong lahat.
Makakasama rin natin ang representatives from the private sector, katulad nila Engineer Raymond Zamora, ang president ng Learning by Doing Technologies o ang tawag doon LeadTech, at nandyan din si Mr. Teddy Herbacio, ang presidente naman ng Quick Trans Cargo Moving Incorporated. At uunahin natin ang PSOLAR Project. Magandang araw sa inyo, Engineer Philman Simpao and Engineer Raymond Zamora.
Magandang araw po, Secretary Boy de la Peña.
Magandang hapon sa Secretary de la Peña at saka sa lahat na nanonood ngayon.
Engineer Zamora, maaari mo bang ibahagi sa amin kung ano ang gawain ng inyong kumpanya at ano ang hinahangad ninyong gawin ng proyektong ito under our CRADLE program?
Yes, ang LeadTech is, ang kumpanya ko is more on renewable energy. Nag-umpisa kami sa solar rooftop at saka yung solar para dun sa mga communities na nasa malalayong lugar, yung tinatawag natin na GIDA, no? Geographically isolated. And it happened that I learned from USEP that meron silang ginagawang solar home kit. So kaya inadapt ko yung technology ni Philman at saka yun na yun ang ginagamit namin sa mga dispersed household. Ibig sabihin, yung mga bahay na malalayo sa clustered community, yung PSOLAR, yun ang ini-install namin sa bundok ng mga indigenous community.
Engineer Simpao, ang inyong partner mula sa private sector ay ang LeadTech Incorporated. Paano po nagsimula ang inyong kolaborasyon? At ano po ang nais nilang gawin sa tulong po ng CRADLE Project?
Ang aming kolaborasyon ay nagsimula nung nagkita kami sa isang kaganapan ng DOST 11 noong 2014, kung saan naging resource speaker si Engineer Zamora. Nalaman ko na ang LeadTech ay kanyang pagmamay-ari at ito ay tungkol sa solar PV design and installation, particular ang solar home kit. Habang nag-uusap kami, nabanggit niya ang pangangailangan ng kanyang mga solar home kit ng isang payment module kung saan ang konsepto ng pay-as-you-go or PG ay pwedeng ipatupad gamit ang relevant na teknolohiya. Unang taon pa lang noon ng paglunsad ng CRADLE program, kaya naisipan namin na mag-apply. Ito ay malaking opportunity kay LeadTech na mag-value adding sa kanilang existing na solar home kit. MatSep at saka LeadTech na malaki talaga ang balakid sa pagkakaroon ng ilaw sa mga poorly served community or off-grid areas, lalo't lalo na mahal masyado ang isang set ng solar home kit. Kaya ganoon na lamang ang hangad namin na PSOLAR project para maisakatuparan namin na magkaroon ng total electrification sa probinsya ng Davao Region.
Engineer Simpao, ibahagi mo sa ating mga taga-subaybay kung ano ba itong payment innovation for solar home system o PSOLAR project na produkto ng inyong R&D collaboration with the LeadTech, at sino ang beneficiaries nito?
Salamat, Secboy. Sa ilalim ng CRADLE program, nabigyan po kami ng grant na galing po sa DOST, mga 5 million pesos. Nakagawa po kami ng 15 solar home kit units na mayroong PSOLAR payment module kung saan pwedeng incremental ang pagbayad ng mga beneficiaries, yung mga indigenous people, in exchange po ng energy credit. Ang pagbayad ay naging madali gamit ang bagong teknolohiya na ginamit namin gaya ng RFID, LoRaWAN, at saka yung short messaging service. Sa 15 solar home kit, 52 bahay ang ating napailawan sa 2 sitio dito sa Talaingod, Davao del Norte sa panahon ng pilot testing namin. Nakita namin na naging madali at magaan ang bayarin nila at dama nila ang benepisyo ng ilaw galing sa araw. Pag-iisang taon na ang proyekto, simula nang mag-install kami sa P-Solar.
Ano po halimbawa ng mga concerns o challenges na inyong kinaharap sa paggawa ng P-Solar project at paano po ninyo ito nabigyan ng solusyon?
Challenges sa solar PV technology is number one, storage, yung battery. So pag sinabi mong battery, after 2 years or pag magandang klase ang battery, aabot ng 3 taon. Pero in short, in general, ang battery is a very expensive materials for that technology. Kaya parang challenges, very challenging. And the only solution na sana yung community ay makapagbayad sila ng monthly payment para doon sa maintenance ng solar technology. So what we did for now is hinahanapan namin ng paraan na magkaroon ng IGP, yung income generating project, ang community in order for them to pay for their monthly electric bill. So the solution is income generation. Yung ginagawa namin as of now is yung wood chips, no, from biomass.
Bilang panghuli, Engineer Simpao, gaano kahalaga o gaano kalaking tulong ang naibigay ng CRADLE program sa inyong research, yung universidad, at para naman kay Engineer Zamora, paano din ito nakatulong para sa kanyang kumpanya?
Salamat po, Sec Boy. Sa kabuuan po, Secretary Boy, napakalaking tulong ng CRADLE program sa aming mga research and development institution gaya ng USEP. Nung una kasi, di kami sigurado sa mga research and development kung merong adapter o utilization yung mga output namin. Sa CRADLE, sigurado na kami na ang mga nagawa naming research and development ay meron talagang taker. Ang industry partner talaga ang validator kung ang research and development ba namin ay nasa tamang direksyon. Sa bahagi naman ng industry partner, talagang leverage sa kanila kung mayroong value adding sa kanilang produkto ang naitutulong ng mga RDA na tulad namin.
CRADLE project is magandang pang start-up ng mga bagong kumpanya. Although LeadTech is already 10 years in business, pero CRADLE can be of help in proof of concept ng mga technology. So ibig sabihin, nagiging research and development R&D ang CRADLE, and at the same time, hopefully, from concept to actual or commercialization, parang iyan yung pinaka-importanting bagay na sana yung mga ginagawa ng academe maging may application doon sa community or ma-convert it into cash.
Muling maraming salamat po, Engineer Philman Simpao. Ang susunod na CRADLE project ay may kinalaman sa natural fabric. Ito ang hand-woven textile project ng DOST, Philippine Textile Research Institute, at ng Custom Made Crafts Center Incorporated. Para ibahagi ito sa ating mga kasama natin, si Ms. Zyla Payag, ang project leader. Magandang araw po sa inyo, Ms. Payag.
Magandang araw, Sir Onin, gayon din kay Secretary Boy de la Peña at sa lahat po ng nanonood ngayon sa DOST Report.
Maaari mo bang ikwento sa amin kung paano nagsimula ang partnership ninyo ang partnership ng DOST PTRI at ng Custom Made Craft Center Incorporated. At ano ang sentro ng partnership na ito?
Maraming salamat po, Sec Boy. So ang Custom Made Craft Center ay ang marketing arm at partner ng forest-based community of the non-timber forest products in the Philippines. Ito ay isang non-governmental organization at community-based organization working with the forest-based communities to strengthen their capability in sustainable management of natural resources. Ang mga produkto po ng CMCC ay advocate ng high-quality Philippine weaves, indigenous crafts, and other forest-based livelihood products. So noong 2020 po, dahil sa COVID-19 pandemic, may need na mag-produce ng mga face mask para sa general public. Nag-expand ng product ang CMCC para mag-produce po ng face mask gamit ang hand-woven indigenous weaves ng kanilang partner weaving communities. Subalit, hindi po nila alam or sure kung ang nagawa po nilang face mask ay compliant sa World Health Organization guidelines for non-medical masks. So lumapit po sila sa PTRI para mag-develop ng compliant face mask.
At ito na nga po naging sentro ng R&D project ng inyong partnership, ang Hand-Woven Textile Project. Mari po ba rin ibahagi kung ano nakapaloob sa proyekto ito?
Ang goal po ng project ay makadevelop ng community-based non-medical personal protective equipment that utilize hand-woven Filipino fabrics produced in community to use for daily wear. So may tatlong intervention po ang ginawa ni PTRI. Una is the development of water-repellent smart textile finishing technology na mag-add value sa community-based hand-woven indigenous mask ng hydrophobicity sa outer layer, while maintaining its breathable characteristic. Ang pangalawa po is ang pagdevelop ng multifunctional community-scale textile heating and curing that would enable textile finishing sa community level. Ang machine na ito ay simple at madaling i-operate at hindi na kailangan ng advanced skill na suitable po sa ating mga communities. At ang pangatlo po is the design. Kasama na din po dito ang fabric construction at number of mask layers.
Shaila, ano ang i-share mong halimbawa ng mga concerns o problems na kinaharap ninyo sa pag-implement nitong CRADLE project na ito at paano nyo nasolusyonan yung mga constraints na yun?
So noong implementasyon po ng project, medyo maluwag na po ang restriction or may mobility at transportation na po. So wala naman po masyadong challenges, activities ng project. More on the availability of the mask or mass testing which is outsourced abroad. Kasi wala pa pong medical mass testing sa Philippines. Pero ang newly acquired machines for medical face mask testing, ngunit ito ay under process pa ng machine validation and analytical method verification. So may offer pa po itong mga test na to sa external clients at internal clients second quarter pa po. So yun po yung pinaka-challenge namin, the testing for the mask.
Para sa iyo, Ms. Paya, gaano po kalaking tulong ang CRADLE program para sa mga RDIs na tulad po ninyo?
So malaking tulong po ang CRADLE program sa mga RDIs or Research and Development Institute. Dahil sa programang ito, masusolusyonan at ma-address ang mga or magkakaroon or mabibigyan po natin ng science intervention ng mga problema ng ating mga stakeholders. At dahil dito, magkakaroon ng innovation ang mga produkto at eventually magiging malaking impact yon sa productivity at income ng mga company.
Muli, maraming salamat po, Ms. Zyla Payag. Dumako naman po tayo sa susunod na CRADLE project, ang Driver PH ng Technological Institute of the Philippines at QuickTrans Cargo Moving Incorporated. Makakasama po natin ang project leader nito na si Mr. Felizardo C. Reyes. Magandang araw po sa inyo, sir.
Magandang araw po, Sir Oning. Gayon din po kay Secretary Boy de la Peña at sa lahat po ng nanonood ng DOST report.
Onin, kasama din natin si Mr. Ted Herbacio, ang presidente ng QuickTrans Cargo Movers Incorporated. Magandang araw sa iyo, Mr. Herbacio.
Ay, magandang araw po, Sir Onin, at magandang araw din po, Secretary de la Peña, at sa ating pong mga manonood sa report ng DOST.
Una sa lahat, Mr. Herbacio, paano ba nagsimula ang partnership ng Technological Institute of the Philippines at ng inyong company, ang Quick Trans Cargo Moving Incorporated. At anong mga concerns ba ang pwedeng matugunan o ma-address nito inyong research partnership na ito?
Ito po ay nagsimula nung kami ay sa isang pagpupulong ay napag-usapan namin ang pangkasalukuyang problema ng ating transportasyon, particular po itong mga truck, particular itong traffic at saka yung sitwasyon po sa kalsada, no? Normally ang mga trucking, ang mga drivers ay napagbibintangan na pasaway sa kalsada dahil malalaki po yung truck at kami nagiging dahilan ng traffic. Pero ang totoo po rito, malaking factor po yung yun pong mga drivers natin sa pagmamaneho sa kalsada. Hindi lang ito mga drivers ng truck. At doon nga po ay naikwento ko na kailangan nating ma-educate ng mas malalim itong ating mga drivers so that yun pong mga aksidente sa kalsada, itong traffic na nangyayari ngayon ay mabigyang lunas at gumaan ang daloy ng sasakyan, mapabilis ang delivery nitong ating mga kargamento dahil sinasabi po natin talaga na itong mga truckers, we are the movers of the economy at sa ganun pong paraan ay malaki ang maitutulong namin sa ikakaunlad ng ating ekonomiya. Malaki ang maitutulong natin sa gobyerno para sa ating logistics sector.
Driver PH, Mr. Reyes, maaari mo bang ibahagi sa amin kung ano ito? Ano magiging gamit ito? At paano siya makatutulong sa mga target users or beneficiaries nito?
Ang driver.ph po is a complete system solution to address the problems of quick trans and help monitor the driver and the truck and the truck drivers' behavior on the road. Ang monitoring po kasi ng technical skills ng driver ay madalas na-assess lang natin tuwing kukuha sila ng lisensya. Pero yung actual na pagmamaneho at ginagamit na niya yung skills na ito sa lansangan, medyo hindi na po natin yun nasusubaybayan. Ito po ang ginagawa ng driver.ph. Aalamin po natin ano ba ang attitude at behavior ng mga drivers natin sa lansangan. Ang proyektong ito po ay maraming components. Meron po tayong IoT or Internet of Things device na ikakabit dun sa ating trucks. At itong IoT natin, marami pong sensors na kumuha ng iba't ibang detalye about like yung speed ng truck, tamang pagliko, lokasyon, temperature, alcohol level. Meron din po itong camera to monitor the surroundings of the truck and the truck driver. So collectively, lahat ng data na makuha nito ay magiging basihan kung mayroon bang paglabag sa batas trapiko yung ating driver. Magagawa po natin ito dun sa tinatawag nating machine learning. At meron din pong isang importanteng parte ng project ay yung mobile and web-based applications na tumutulong educate and reskill themselves. So, yung pong mga drivers na tingin natin may kakulangan, meron po silang may kakulangan sa technical skills sa pagmamaneho, meron pong mga video tutorials and digitalized lessons para madagdagan ang kanilang skills. So lahat po ng datos na makukuha natin mula sa lessons, mula sa mga kanilang paraan ng pagmamaneho sa lansangan, lahat po ito papasok dun sa ating tinatawag na data analytics model. So doon natin malalaman kung yung isang driver ay roadworthy or not. Yun naman po ang target ng ating project. Identify kung sino lang po ang roadworthy na dapat magmaneho sa lansangan at kung sino po yung nangangailangan seminars na imo-monitor natin na dapat nagpo-progress siya at dapat na-achieve niya yung mga kakulangan na ito. Pagdating naman po sa mga benefits, ang unang-unang ina-address po natin is yung road safety concern. Pangalawa po ang truck sa fatality when it comes to road crashes. So marami rin pong pag-uulat galing sa iba't ibang sangay ng gobyerno, sa MMDA, PNP at TESDA, na naglabas ng report na isa sa mga sanhi ng road crashes na ito ay yung kakulangan ng technical skills ng mga driver. And that is what we want to do sa driver.ph. We want to professionalize the truck driving profession. At sabi nga ni Sir Ted kanina, kaakibat din ito yung kahalagahan ng truck sa pagdadala ng produkto. Mabalanse yung level ng supply and demand para rin po sa ating ekonomiya.
Mr. Herbacio, ano naman ang mai-share mo mga naging concerns o kaya ay challenges na inyong na-meet sa proyekto na ito at papaano niyo ito nabigyan ng solusyon?
Well, marami pong challenges tayong nakaharap dito. Una ay yung partisipasyon at kooperasyon sa pagkakalap ng mga impormasyon para doon sa aktual na pagmamaneho ng ating mga drivers. Ganun din po, yung mga drivers themselves, kailangan pong makuha yung kanilang mga kinasanayan na pagmamaneho. Alam niyo po, itong mga drivers natin, marami talaga ng mga drivers natin, marami po talaga yung natuto ng pagmamaneho through experience lang. Wala po mga formal education. But ang masasabi ko lang, itong mga drivers na to, pagamat lahat po ay hindi ganun ka-comprehensive pagdating sa mga sulat, pero sila ay magagaling na driver. So, yun po yung hinahanap natin ng solusyon. And through TIP, ay nakagawa sila ng mga pamamaraan sa pamamagitan ng mga modernong teknolohiya ng ating information technology kung paano natin makukuha yun pong kinagawian nito mga drivers na kailangan nating itama. Yung pagmamaneho ng malalayong lugar, malalayong distansya, pagmamaneho ng napakahabang oras. Ito po yung pinipilit nating makuha while pinag-aaralan ito at sa pamamagitan po nito doon tayo naniniwala na mabibigyan natin ng solusyon itong sitwasyon ng problema natin sa kalsada sa pangkalahatan.
Para po sa inyo, gaano kalaking tulong po ang pilot program para po sa mga RDIs na tulad po ninyo?
Napakalaking tulong po, lalo na po sa realization ng TIP vision. Our institution, Technological Institute of the Philippines, envisions a better life for the Filipinos. At sa pamamagitan po ng CRADLE program, nakakatulong po kami na maisakatuparan ang bahagi ng vision na ito. Bukod sa nakakatulong po kami sa drivers, sa operators, at sa commuters na rin na mabibig sa kanilang pag-travel. Personally, bilang isang teacher, ako rin po ay maraming natutunan sa proyekto ito. Kasama na rin yung mga members ng aming team. Sa habang ginagawa po namin yung proyekto, marami po kaming natutunan at lahat ay maibabahagi namin sa ibang faculty members at sa iba pang students na maaari naming gabayan. At ngayon pa lang po, nagpapasalamat ako ng maraming sa DOST para sa opportunity na ibinigay po sa amin.
Para kay Mr. Herbacio naman, gaano namang kalaki ang naitulong ng CRADLE program na ito para sa mga kumpanyang katulad ninyo?
Well, katulad po ng nabanggit ni Doc June, ay napakalaking tulong po ng programang ito dahil yung ating mga drivers ay talagang nagkaroon ng sapat na kaalaman para doon sa tamang pagmamaneho. Natutunan din po nila yung pong mga karapatan nila sa kalsada. At ito po ay nakakasigurado kami na maiaayos natin. Malaking bahagi kami ng solusyon ng problema ng traffic, yung mga aksidente sa kalsada, na ito ay maiiwasan na sa mga dadating na panahon. Sa ngayon po ay talagang mayroon kaming shortage ng mga driver, ng mga maaayos sa driver. Dahil ito pong aming mga sasakyan talagang malalaki naman at may kahirapang i-drive at hindi basta driver ay pwedeng magmamaneho nito. Pero dahil po sa tulong ng programang ito, itong CRADLE, ay nakakakuha po kami ngayon ng and responsible drivers na talagang pwede nating ipabiyahe hanggang kahit sa malalayong lugar. Kaya po gusto kong samantalahin yung pagkakataon na to na magpasalamat sa TIP pero higit sa lahat sa tanggapan po ng Department of Science and Technology sa suporta, sa funding na ginagawa niyo po. Sana po ay hindi matapos dito yung programa para sa driver.ph dahil naniniwala po kami marami pa po mga kailangang ayusin at gawin para po sa sektor ng transportasyon, lalo na po para sa kinakaharap ng ating mga driver. So muli po, maraming salamat po.
Alright, maraming salamat po muli sa ating mga panauhin. Sec Boy, baka may mga nais po kayo pabatid sa ating mga taga-subaybay.
Oo, ang masasabi ko lang ito namang ating CRADLE program ay para sa iba't ibang sektor, whether in agriculture, whether in industry, manufacturing, o kahit doon sa mga related sa ating mga industriya sa health sciences. At siguro ay dadating tayo doon sa punto, siguro mga ilang panahon pa, ay in the not too distant future, ay pwedeng tumulong tayo in a bigger way in the sense na yung mga magkakamukhang kumpanya na actually competitors, if they are meeting the same problem, ay pwede naman silang magsama-sama para i-address ito through R&D. Sabi nga natin, kahit kayo competitors ay pwede kayong magtulong-tulong o magsama-sama para ma-solve yung mga inyong problema sa inyong sektor. Ang tawag diyan competition, cooperation, pero merong competition pa rin. Kaya ako'y naniniwala na itong CRADLE program ay marami pang matutulungang mga kumpanya natin dito sa ating bansa.
Salamat po, Sec Boy, sa amin pong pagbabalik. Sasagutin ni Sec Boy at ang ating mga panauhin ang tanong ng bayan. Sa pagbabalik po yan, ang DOST Report. Media questions are in. It's time for Itanong Mo kay Sec Boy. Para po sa unang katanungan, mula kay Divina Pastora Reyes ng Unlad Bayan Facts and Figures News Weekly for Mr. Felizardo C. Reyes. Paano po nag-survive ang quick trans cargo moving gamit ang siyensya at teknolohiya sa gitna ng pandemya?
Yung challenges doon sa pandemic na overcome naman po nung project natin, yung mga problems when it comes to development of the project at para doon sa ating partner na Quick. Pagdating doon sa part na meron tayong mga restrictions, doon sa mga border restrictions, yung mga merong IATF protocols na dapat ipatupad, tuloy-tuloy pa rin naman po yung paggawa ng proyekto. At ang ginawa lang po natin ay mag-comply sa lahat ng requirements na ito. Although there are challenges and hindi siya yung normal na paggawa natin sa araw-araw. Nagiging okay pa rin yung operations ng Quick Trans together with Driver PH and together with TIP. So tuloy-tuloy po yung ating paggawa. And science and technology din po ang solution. Yung dating meeting na face-to-face, naging virtual meeting na po siya. Yung mga problems natin but may tinatawag po tayong silver lining. Yung proximity is no longer a problem kahit gaano po kalayo nakapag-meeting pa rin po. All of that is facilitated through science and technology.
Ang tanong na ito mula naman kay Cristina Ariata, Philippine News Agency for Engineer Philman Simpao. Ano po ang mga plano ng Peace Project para sa deployment nito sa mga communities at saan-saan ito maaaring magamit?
Ay, salamat sa tanong. Ang magiging plano ng P-Solar ay dadamihan pa po natin yung fabrication nito at ating i-deploy sa mga off-grid areas pa rin. Kaya ng probinsya ng Davao de Oro at saka Davao del Norte. Hanggang sa maisakatuparan natin at ma-validate talaga natin, no? Tulong ng lead tech ang teknolohiya na pinatutupad natin ay talagang effective.
Mula naman kay Julagire ng GMA News Iloilo, Sidejorn Aklan. Ano po ang status ng hand woven textile industry sa Western Visayas? Ano-ano na po ang mga nagawa at mga benepisyo na idulot sa mga nasa local textile industry?
Maraming salamat po sa tanong. So, marami pong mga hand-woven communities or weavers sa Iloilo, Antique, Aklan at Negros. At mga producers din po ng raw materials like natural fiber sources sa Camarines Sur at Negros Oriental. Nakapag-establish po ng first regional yarn production innovation center or RIPIC in the town of Miagao. At ang sinuportahan po ng DOST ang establishment nito, isang microscale facility with a strong collaboration with Iloilo Science and Technology University at ang DOST Region 6 at ang ating local government from Miagao. And also, itong Right Peak Iloilo ay gumagawa at nagbebenta ng sinulid gawa ng local na materyales. So sa pamamagitan ng Panoblix, ang private partner ng ISATU at PTRI sa Right Peak, nagagamit ang mga sinulid ng Right Peak ng mga local weavers. So hindi lang po ang mga NCR ang may access sa local yarns, but pati po sa Right Peak Iloilo.
Salamat po sa inyong pagsagot at salamat din sa ating mga kaibigan sa media na nagpadala ng kanilang katanungan ngayong araw. Sec Boy, bago po tayo magpaalam, imbitahan po ninyo ang ating mga manonood sa nalalapit na pagbabalik ng Syensikat sa telebisyon.
Inaanyayahan ko ang lahat na abangan ang pagbabalik ng Syensikat, Pinoy Popular Science para sa lahat sa CNN. At ito ay magsisimula sa Saturday, April 23. At mula dun sa date na yon ay mapapanood na regularly tuwing Sabado at Linggo, alas 8 ng umaga kung Sabado at Linggo, at alas 4 ng hapon, Sabado at Linggo rin sa CNN Philippines. Maraming salamat.
Mga kapatid, salamat pong muli sa inyong pagsubaybay. Mas marami pang balita mula sa mundo ng agam at teknolohiya ang ating pag-uusapan. Kaya tutok lamang kayo tuwing Biyernes, alas 4 ng hapon, dito sa DOST TV Facebook page at YouTube channel. Paragi rin tumutok sa mga websites at FB pages ng ating mga ahensya ng DOST para sa latest happenings nila at mga events tungkol sa iba't ibang R&D projects at mga inovasyon. Bisitahin din ang DOST Philippines FB page para di mahuli sa mga nakalinya activities ng DOST. Ako po si Oling Miranda. Ito ang mga balitang may kinalaman sa agam, teknolohiya at inovasyon, hatid ang pagbabago para sa maunlad na mundo.
At ako po muli ang inyong lingkod, si Secretary Fortunato de la Peña ng Department of Science and Technology, sa inyong walang sawang pagsubaybay sa DOST Report.